Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. Chapter 6. Non-attachment is the complete self-abnegation. Just as every action that emanates from us comes back to us as reaction, even so our actions may act on other people and theirs on us. Perhaps all of you have observed it as a fact that when persons do evil actions, they become more and more evil, and when they begin to do good, they become stronger and stronger and learn to do good at all times. Their intensification of the influence of action cannot be explained on any other ground than that we can act and react upon each other. To take an illustration from physical science, when I am doing a certain action, my mind may be said to be in a certain state of vibration. All minds which are in similar circumstances will have the tendency to be affected by my mind. If there are different musical instruments tuned alike in one room, all of you have noticed that when one is struck, the others have the tendency to vibrate so as to give the same note. So all minds that have the same tension, so to say, will be equally affected by the same thought. Of course, this influence of thought on mind will vary according to distance and other causes, but the mind is always open to affection. Suppose I am doing an evil act, my mind is in a certain state of vibration, and all minds in the universe which are in a similar state have the possibility of being affected by the vibration of my mind. So when I am doing a good action, my mind is in another state of vibration, and all minds similarly strong have the possibility of being affected by my mind. And this power of mind upon mind is more or less according as the forces of the tension is greater or less. Following this simile further, it is quite possible that just as light waves may travel for millions of years before they reach any object, so thought waves may also travel hundreds of years before they meet an object with which they vibrate in unison. It is quite possible, therefore, that this atmosphere of ours is full of thoughts, pulsations, both good and evil. Every though thought projected from every brain goes on pulsating as it were until it meets a fit object that will receive it. Any mind which is open to receive some of these impulses will take them immediately. So when a man is doing evil actions, he has brought his mind to a certain state of tension, and all the waves which correspond to that state of tension, which may be said to be already in the atmosphere, will struggle to enter into his mind. That is why an evildoer generally goes on doing more and more evil. His actions become intensified. Such also will be the case with the doer of good. He will open himself to all the good waves that are in the atmosphere, and his good actions also will become intensified. We run, therefore, a twofold danger in doing evil. First, we open ourselves to all the evil influences surrounding us. Secondly, we create evil which affects others maybe hundreds of years hence. In doing evil, we injure ourselves and others also. In doing good, we do good to ourselves and to others as well. And like all the other forces in man, these forces of good and evil also gather strength from outside. According to Karma Yoga, the action one has done cannot be destroyed until it has borne its fruit. No power in nature can stop it from yielding its results. If I do an evil action, I must suffer for it. There is no power in this universe to stop or stay it. Similarly, if I do a good action, there is no power in the universe which can stop its bearing good results. The cause that may have its effect. Nothing can prevent or restrain this. Now comes a very fine and serious question about Karma Yoga, namely that these actions of ours, both good and evil, are intimately connected with each other. We cannot put a line of demarcation and say this action is entirely good and this entirely evil. There is no action which does not bear good and evil fruits at the same time. To take the nearest example, I am talking to you and some of you perhaps think I am doing good, and at the same time perhaps killing thousands of microbes in the atmosphere. I am thus doing evil to something else when it is very near to us and affects those we know. We say that it is very good action if it affects them in a good manner. For instance, you may call my speaking to you very good, but the microbes will not. The microbes you do not see, but yourselves you do see. The way in which my talk affects you is obvious to you, but now it affects the microbes is not so obvious. And so if we analyze the evil actions also, we may find that some good possibly results from them somewhere. Positive results from them somewhere. He who in good action sees that there is something evil in it, and in the midst of the evil sees that there is something good in it somewhere, has known the secret of work. But what follows from it? That however we may try, there cannot be any action which is perfectly pure, or any which is perfectly impure. Taking purity and impurity in the sense of injury and non-injury, we cannot breathe or live without injuring others, and every bite of the food we eat is taken away from another's mouth. Our very lives are crowding out others' lives. It may be men or animals or small microbes, but someone or other of these we have to crowd out. Take that being the case, it naturally follows that perfection can never be attained by work. We may work through all eternity, but there will be no way out of this intricate maze. You may work on and on and on. There will be no end to this inevitable association of good and evil in the results of work. The second point to be considered is what is the end of work. We find the vast majority of people in every country believing that there will be a time when this world will become perfect, when there will be no disease, no death, no unhappiness, no wickedness. This is a very good idea, very good motive, power to inspire and uplift the ignorant. But if we think for a moment, we shall find on the very face of it that it cannot be so. How can it be seen that good and evil are the obverse and reverse of the same coin? How can you have good without evil at the same time? What is meant by perfection? A perfect life is a contradiction in terms. Life itself is a state of continuous struggle between ourselves and everything outside. Every moment we are fighting actually with external nature, and if we are defeated, our life has to go. It is, for instance, a continuous struggle for food and air. If food or air fails, we die. Life is not a simple and smoothly flowing thing, but it is a compound effect. This complex struggle between something inside and the external world is what we call life. So it is clear that when the struggle ceases, there will be an end of life. What is meant by ideal happiness is the cessation of the struggle. But then life will cease, for the struggle can only cease when life itself has ceased. We have seen already that in helping the world we help ourselves. The main effect of work done for others is to purify ourselves. By means of the constant effort to do good to others, we are trying to forget ourselves. This forgetfulness of self is the only lesson we have to learn in life. Man thinks foolishly that he can make himself happy, and after years of struggle finds out at last that true happiness consists in killing selfishness, and that no one can make him happy except himself. Every act of charity, every thought of sympathy, every action of help, every good deed is taking so much of self-importance away from our little selves and making us think ourselves as the lowest and the least, and therefore it is all good. Here we find the jnana, bhakti and karma all come to one point. The highest ideal is eternal and entire self-abnegation, where there is no I but all is thou. And whether he is conscious or unconscious of it, karma yoga leads man to that end. A religious preacher may become horrified at the idea of an impersonal God. He may insist on a personal God and wish to keep his own identity and individuality, whatever he may mean by that. But his ideas of ethics, if they are really good, cannot be based on the highest self-abnegation. It is the basis of all morality. You may extend it to all men or animals or angels. It is the one basic idea, the one fundamental principle running through all ethical systems.